What's up guys, your boy Gus back again with another video, and today I'm doing another part. I don't really sure what to call the series, but of the Dead by Daylight X something collabs and what I feel like it could look like. The last time I did this, it was the first part we did Murder Drones, which I saw you guys liked a lot and I'm very happy about that. And today, you might have already read the title, so in the final for it, we are doing Bendy Dead by Daylight X Bendy and the Ink Machine. Now, before we get really into talking about all the stuff, again, it's gonna be the same order as last time, where first map, then the survivor, and then the killer, because to keep consistency. Now, also, I'll say this, so you guys know how these videos gonna work for now. I'm gonna make one of these videos every month. There's gonna be one. Maybe sometimes there won't be more than one, specifically in October when it comes to that. I might do more than one because it's just the spooky season, so it makes sense to do more than one. Could make sense. And I might do some smaller ones here and there, maybe. And also, for the next one, because I have some ideas what you guys want to see, so I want you guys to, in the comments, let me know what series, like in your video game, movie, TV show, anything, you want me to make one of these videos for. Don't tell me character names, but just tell me the series, and then I'll come up with an idea of that thing. Because I think that's going to be the next part if I can get a good idea of it. But yeah. Anyways, without further ado, let's begin with the map. Now, as for the map, I feel like it's only obvious what it's gonna be, so yeah. The map is going to be Joey Do Studio. But now, the thing that's really hard for this is how the map is going to look. My idea is that the main map area is going to be the chapter 1 area, because I feel like that's the most recognizable one is chapter 1. But there's also going to be a couple of little areas to reference some of the other chapters. Like for example, there's going to be like the area where we see like Alice Angel behind like the cave, behind like that glass. Behind the glass in chapter 3, and then also some other stuff to reference all the other different areas because of how big Bendy's JoJo Studios is. It's very hard to put it in one like map that's not too big. So I feel like that's kind of the idea for right now, for the map. And yeah, like I don't really have much else to explain about the map. Just that's how it should look, because there's really only one specific area in Bendy that makes sense for a map, and that is JoJo Studios. Nothing really else makes sense, so yeah. Now, let's get into the survivor. Now, as for the survivor, it was a bit hard to think about who I should use, because I brought it down to two characters. Henry, I forgot his last name, and Audrey Drew. Now, I was thinking I should maybe do Henry because he's maybe the more well-known one, because of he was the main character in Bendy and Ink Machine. But then in the Discord group I'm a part of, Discord server I'm a part of, I asked who they were more people liked between the two, and more people liked Audrey. So I decided to do the survivor is going to be Audrey Drew. But don't you worry, those people like Henry, I'm going to make it so that she's gonna have a skin that change her into Henry, so we can have both. Now, as for Audrey's perks, this is what I come up with. And again, unlike Murder Drones, I don't know as much about Bendy and Ink Machine, so I got a couple ideas from searching around, and these are the ones called. The first perk 1, is one with the demon. I came up with this name because she has a connection to the ink, because she is a creature made of ink. So I feel like that could make sense to her power relating to the ink side of herself. What this perk does is when the killer is carrying a survivor on their shoulders or in their hand, just they're carrying a survivor, you will see the killer's aura until they either drop the survivor or they hook them. So it's a great way to know where exactly the killer is at and where they're gonna hook the survivor they have on their shoulder. Or they are carrying it. Yeah. The next perk I have, this is a bit more interesting one, which fits a bit more to her. And this is something she actually has in the game. Porter's Skiff. If you guys don't remember who Porter is the guy who gives you the ability to... I forgot what it is called in the game. I forgot what the actual power is called. If I can remember, there will be something on screen to say what the name of the power is, but I don't remember right now off the top of my head. But anyways, what this power does is, like the game, it can give you power to teleport. Not teleport, but like travel short distances. So I will say, yeah, that's how it is. When you can use it, and when you use it, you will teleport in a short distance. So it's a great way to quickly get away from the killer. But after use, it will go on cooldown for 120 seconds or 2 minutes, just so you won't be able to constantly spam it. Because if you can spam it, it will just be way too powerful. So it has a 2-minute cooldown after each use. And then, now, for the final perk, I want to do something that relates a bit more to her, well, her family. So, I've given her skills from her father, which is, of course, reference to Joju, the person who created her, or her father, or dad, as you can call it. Now, what this perk does is when you're repairing a generator, skill checks will appear 20% more often, but the skill zone will be 40% smaller. So we're kind of a risk and reward because, while yes, you get way more skill checks, the zone to hit them will be smaller, so it'll be harder to hit them. But I didn't want to do the like a smaller hit is way too small for percent, so I only adjusted it to 40%. If 40% is a bit too small, is a bit too little, I'm not the best with coming up with the numbers type of things. But anyways, yeah, that is going to be our survivor. Now, for the final and the fun part, the new killer. Now, as for the killer, I think it's pretty obvious who's gonna be. So, without further ado, let me introduce you guys to the Ink Demon. Now, specifically, I'm gonna give him the design he has in the Dark Revival, because that design is way better than OG, and his design is Bendy the Ink Machine. So he's gonna have a Dark Revival design. But I'm going to give him a skin where you can make him look like the original Bendy from the Bendy Machine. Now, as for his power, I want to give him something unique, but still kind of related to Bendy. So here's what I'm coming. He has 2 different powers, but his main power, then he has a different mode he can transform into. Let me see. So his main power is going to be called Ink Toss. I know, not the most creative name, but I didn't really have a better name to come up before. What is that you can, well, it does have a cooldown. I'm not sure what the cooldown should be, but with you have a different attack where you can toss balls of ink at a survivor, which will slow them down for 3 seconds. So it's a great way for you to toss it in quick so you can catch up. And now, here's the fun part. The second, because that power alone isn't really that good, it's pretty weak power. Then here comes the second power, which I feel like it's a bit stronger and I like more. This is called his Beast Mode, which is of course a reference to Beast Bendy, which is him going all out basically in Bendy Machine and Dark Revival. Now, what this does is how to activate after after hitting survivors with 6 ink balls. Again, if that's too little, I could always go higher. You can activate beast mode for 30 seconds, and in beast mode you can dash around the map, kind of similar to like how Oni's powers work, or like Billy, you can do a dash around the map. And if you dash into a survivor to get put into the dying state, and here's the thing: if you dash into a pellet or a vault, they break. Yes, he can break vaults. Not just pellet, also vaults. Which I think is a unique thing, because I'm not sure if there's any other killer who can actually break vaults. Which I think is a pretty new power to have. Again, but now it's time for his perks. Now, for his perks, I think like some of them were a bit easy to come up with, some of them are a bit of a stretch, but I couldn't really think of any other ideas. So here's what I got up with. His first perk is the Dancing Demon, which makes sense, for Bendy is known as the Dancing Demon. What this power does is, after you drop from a height, you gain 10% haste for about 3 seconds, just so you can quickly catch up with a survivor. So it's basically the killer's version of a power called Balance Landing. What that perk does is, when you drop from a height, you can quickly run away after landing on the ground to quickly get away. It's basically the killer's version of Balance Landing. His second perk is called Inky Footsteps. And what this does is, at the start of the trial, you get undetectable until you get into your first chase. And when you get in your first chase, the survivor you're chasing gets exposed for 10 seconds. So this is only apparently that only works at the beginning of the match, but I feel like it could make sense, because Bendy can be pretty stealthy in the games, even though it doesn't show, he can be stealthy. Now, as for his final perk, this one was hard to come up with an idea to what it could be. So what I come up with is something, well, not related to Bendy, it's related to a character he is very connected to. This perk is called Broken Halo, which is a reference to reference to Alice Angel. I don't know why I could not remember her name. Reference to Alice Angel. What this does is, after you break a wall or a pellet, you will see the gen with the most progress for 5 seconds. Or you can typically always see all gens. What I mean is, you will see the gen, it will light up in yellow. You see the gen with the most progress light up in yellow, so you know that gen is almost done, so you can quickly go over there and stop it. Now, I don't really know if there's any skins I could really come up with for Ink Demon, because of the whole beast mode power, it's gonna be hard to put other characters over. The only one I can think of maybe is like putting over Boris, but that doesn't really make sense, because Boris is not a bad guy. Maybe, okay, the one that could be a maybe is why can't I remember it? Wilson from the Dark Revival, because he does have a different form, but that's technically things you can use on its own, but you can make exceptions because of Entity's powers. He can make it happen. So probably Wilson could be a skin for the Ink Demon. Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, that's going to be the end of today's video. Hope you'll enjoy your time. This is always fun to make these and come up with ideas to what powers I can give and what perks I come up with and maps. I love doing these. And yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy your time. And remember, you matter in this world. There's always someone who will love and appreciate you. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, remember, you are loved and appreciated. Be happy, stay happy, see all you lovely people next time. Later, Rugged Army.